Good day everyone, I'm LineAD and I come to you in this MP4 video to show you one of the builds that I've been running recently. This Rapier sword and shield build revolves around rushing down and crippling our enemy with mobile attacks until we get close enough to spam quick but deadly evade light attacks. Before I let you in on the details, I kindly ask that you hit the red sub button if you enjoy my content, drop a like and check out my Twitch channel where I will be streaming at twitch.tv/LineAD with a double D. This build is very usable, however do not be surprised if you are outmatched by people with similar builds such as Sword and Shield Hatchet, as they simply have the advantage of attribute point compatibility. You are pretty weak in group fights, but you do have a lot of mobility to escape hordes of people chasing you. The clips shown on screen at the moment really showcase this build's hypermobility, as between Leaping Strike and Flash, you can cover big ground, and even more if you time your evade with an enemy's attack to give you that stamina and speed boost. Although our sword will have very low damage in this build, it has so many staggers, stuns and slows that it can force your enemies to run away with their back turned to you, which I will elaborate on why is so good for us in the attribute section. Alrighty, so let's kick things off with our Rapier skill tree, taking all the points in evade. This will give us increased damage on our next light attack, provide us with cooldown reduction on evade when using light attacks, and if we use evade to dodge any attack, we gain 20 stamina and 20% haste. Evade can be really good for shredding targets with their back turned to you. Next, take all the points in Flash or Flashe, however you say it, with the main one to take note of being Interruption, allowing you to press light attack during Flash to stop and hit for 115% weapon damage. This can be a really good tool to engage combat with or get behind someone, but it does take a bit of practice to land in the right spot. And finally, the ultimate Momentum, which is huge as it gives us 30% extra damage on light or heavy attacks after using any ability, meaning we can really milk this with our evade spams. On the left tree, we're going to take In Guard, Flourish and Finish with its first passive and Light Edge. From this point, we have 2 remaining points which you can either invest into Swiftness, Controlled Breathing, Swagger, or Refreshing Strikes, completely up to you. For anyone wondering why we're not taking Riposte in this build is because while it is a really good counterattacking tool or a defensive tool, you cannot use Riposte if someone is running away from you, because they will not be fighting you back. Flourish and Finish, even though we do not have the Tondo and Bleed build going on, we can use it to stagger and gain distance on enemies that are running away from us. Make it inherently offensive rather than defensive or counterattack based. Now, onto the Sword and Shield skill tree. As far as I know, you don't personally benefit from the defensive formation ultimate, so you can ignore that and focus on passives that debuff and slow enemies and grant yourself more protection. For the most part, you can also ignore the damage-based passives, and on screen is a sample skill tree that you can use, but feel free to mess around with it yourself. Both Leaping Strike and Shield Rush will inflict a slow on enemies, making it so good for rushing down single targets, and Shield Bash is a super strong stun, which makes this build super oppressive when you're chasing someone down. As far as your attribute split goes, you have 2 options here. Either 200 Dexterity, 150 Intelligence, and 150 Constitution, or 150 Intelligence, 150 Dexterity, with 200 Constitution. The first option is the one I prefer, as it is higher risk and higher reward, and if you're getting the jump on your enemies, you don't always need 200 Con and 150 will suffice. However, you will be super squishy this patch, especially with your reduced armor to compensate for carrying a shield. So if you do need to go up to 200 Constitution, you definitely should, and a lot of the time I choose how much Con I run according to the environment I'm playing in. You're probably thinking 2 things after hearing what I just told you. Firstly, how's our sword going to get any damage whatsoever? And the answer is that I don't care about my sword's damage, even though it would be really helpful to kill even faster. I just use the sword for staggers, slows and stuns. Secondly, why so much intelligence? Technically, you could achieve more damage on the 200 Con option by running 200 Dexterity and 100 Int with an Opal. However, I think a tier 5 intelligence gem is all around more consistent, and it gives you that variety between physical and elemental damage. Your Heartrune choice is completely up to you. Stoneform might save you being such low con, whereas something like Detonate might synergize really well with our staggers, stuns and offensive playstyle. The rapier I use is Officer's Ceremony, with vicious and penetrating backstab together, allowing us to shred anyone with their back turned to us. The rapier also has a base 1.4 crit damage multiplier, brought up to 1.5 by vicious, up to 1.6 by our 50 intelligence passive, and up to 1.7 from our 200 dexterity passive. This is a really massive crit multiplier and makes them really worthwhile, specifically backstabs. For your sword and shield perks, Empowering Licking Strike is not needed since we are not using our own sort of damage, with Fortifying Shield Rush and Diminishing Shield Bash being optional if you have the room to run it on either your shield or your armor. Onto our armor, you absolutely must take Omnidirectional Evade because this is going to have an extremely good uptime and give you a really consistent empower. Refreshing Flash is optional, although you don't get many chances to use it. And Deadly Flourish will be nice to add a bit of damage, but it is not mandatory since adding something like a stack of Freedom could be more beneficial. For your general armor perks, you're going to want to stack 4 to 5 Resilient as per usual, and then perks of your choice ranging from Freedom, Shocking Fortification, to Elemental and Physical Aversions to Refreshings. In all your armor pieces, you should take Rune Glass, which will boost your elemental damage by 2%, since we will be taking a T5 elemental gem in our rapier. Just make sure that your elemental rune glass in your rapier matches your elemental rune glass in your armor. Thank you to everyone who has watched this video. I hope we're all super hyped for season 2 because I sure am. I want to come back to the game, but I can't really make any promises because I don't want to let you guys down, but I've been away for a while. But yeah, we'll see what the future holds. I'll try to pump more guides out. But yes, thank you for watching. Please catch my live streams because that is something that I do want to prioritize now. Yep. Alright, thanks, cool. See you, bye, goodbye.